Good morning.
What do you think was just not working during the stint with Henrick?
I think he came in with his ideas, and it was kind of, I think, a little bit difficult to adjust in some moments. And I think everyone was trying and doing everything we could. And I think there was just moments where maybe we're on different pages in that side of things.
What was the mentality and just the, I guess, environment, I can't think of a better word right now, of the locker room this last month?
Obviously, we had that little stretch of games where we had some wins, but I think looking back on the last couple weeks, not getting results is always frustrating. And with the standard that we hold ourselves to at this club and as individuals as well, we're not getting results. It's hard and it affects you both physically and mentally. And so it's kind of how can we respond to that, and knowing the difficult time we had in the last month. And all right, now we have two very important games this week that can hopefully put us on a good stage going into this World Cup break.
You're one of the guys who have experience with Toronto, even before he came back. How much trust do you feel like this team has in him right now?
I would say a lot. I think his experience that he's had, the time he spent in this club, he knows all of us. So that's good. It's nice to be able to have that transition to make it a seamless transition in a way. And we know what to kind of expect from him from his time here and when he's in Montreal as well. So I think everyone's really looking forward to working with him and seeing what we can do.
It's only a week before the World Cup break. How much time, how much do you feel like you can realistically do as a team during this time?
Obviously, it's a quick little, like you said, it's a quick little turnaround to have two big games and then the World Cup break. So we'll take these two games as we can and give everything we can for them, and then use that World Cup break to really focus on everything and get on the same page again, and then turn ahead towards the end of the season after.
You talked about the difficulties of losing. You guys haven't done a ton of that here. You specifically, from Q2 to this club.
Mm-hmm.
How much does that affect things on top of the fact that maybe it wasn't working? This wasn't like the blip that you guys have gone through in the past. So how much did that affect things just having gone through something?
I think it had a big role in it. It's always in the back of your mind. You go into a game and you're like, I feel like you have that little voice in the back of your head telling you that it's there, and how obviously you don't want to listen to it and you want to focus on what's in front of you and have the positive thoughts. But I feel like you always have the little voice that's just kind of there, and I think it was there for a little too long for all of us, and I think it allowed these results to kind of stack themselves and to lead to those.
As a captain, how do you approach going forward? You talked about Laurent, and obviously he's the leader of all this, but you have a role to play as well. How do you kind of approach not just these next two games, but you still have the rest of this season to try and turn things around?
Yeah, obviously, like I said before, it's not how we want to start the season. And going into where we're at now, going into this break, we thought we were hoping to be in a different spot. So now we use these two games that we have in front of us to set a new standard for ourselves and use that to springboard us into the World Cup break and keep guys going. It's like the World Cup break, obviously it's breaks the season up into two, and I think this year is honestly a good thing for us. We use this first half of the season to learn from and put it behind us in a way, and then look forward to really focusing on what's in front of us and having that mentality that, all right, it's a new season, new opportunity for us to find a way back up in the table.
And playing with these guys, most of these guys, as long as you have, do you still see the ceiling that you guys have reached in the past? Is that still attainable?
100%. I think every day we see the quality of the players that we have, and it's there. It's never left us, and it's kind of getting that confidence back and believing in ourselves that we can play and we can compete and win games.
Max this morning in an interview said there's a new vibe in the locker room. Do you agree with that? And my follow-up is, what does that constitute as players in the locker room?
I think I would agree. I think it's like a new kind of first day of preseason again, in a way. You're coming back from your off season and you come back to see everyone for the first time again. So it's a little bit like that, and it goes a long way in terms of mentally allows you to feel refreshed and kind of restart. And how can we use that to find that confidence and to continue to show the fans what we're capable of? hasn't been the start we wanted. I'll keep saying that, but we want the fans to keep believing in us and show them that, they can still be proud of us, and what we put on the field is what they deserve, and we're going to show them this week, and hopefully it allows them to feel confident in us and that belief in us as we head into that World Cup break and then ready for the second half of the season.
You've been a leader for a long time in your career. I assume there's something of a leadership council in the locker room that you probably head up as captain. What have you learned about how that needs to work, and was it in part successful, not in removing a coach, but in communicating to leadership above you that things were the way they were?
Yeah, I think it was obviously the leadership council was a big part of what happened the beginning of the season. We kind of talked to each other all the time and got the lay of the land, and really was able to talk through things, and it allowed us to kind of feel more understanding in the situation. It's being able to talk through everything and put everything out there amongst ourselves, and then obviously whenever we felt like it was needed to have a conversation with Issa and them, and I think it allowed everyone to kind of get on the same page.
Sean, what was your reaction to learning the news that Henrick was relieved of his duties?
Obviously, it was a shocking moment for me. I was out doing yard work Sunday afternoon, and Issa gave me a call. So it's kind of a shock to the system, and it's obviously you never want to lose a coach, and it's hard because as a person, you someone who came from Sweden to come here and take that risk, and now for that to happen to him, it's always you think about the person at first. And now it's, okay, this has happened, and now it's how can we switch it and look forward to what's in store now.
And these are always tough decisions, but do you think that this change can spark a turnaround and reinvigorate some energy back into the locker room?
I think so, and I think we saw that a little bit yesterday. We came back in, and it's, okay, here we go again. We're ready to go, and it's a new chance, new opportunity, and we have someone like Laurent who's got familiarity with everyone, and having that it makes you feel confident and ready to show what we're capable of. Yep.
When you talk about kind of getting that thought in the back of your head and you try to fight it, but it's there, when you get that call, does it allow you to kind of get rid of that thought and hit the reset button a little bit?
I think so. I think, like I keep saying too, yesterday coming in, it was like a fresh start. What happened is now over, and looking forward to what's in store. Obviously, those results, like I said, that voice is there, but getting back out here and putting the ball down, playing, and being out here with these guys, I think it's like allows you to restart.
And then when you look at Laurent, you guys have such a great relationship with him as a coach. What was that conversation like with Issa to say he's the guy, we're ready to go with him?
I think it was a moment of happiness and proud, just to be able to kind of look back on the success I was able to have with him as a coach, and now to kind of be back in the same place again and in this role. It makes me look back on it and be really excited for this, and looking back on it, it's like he's been a huge part of my time here when I first came back, and now to have him in this role and to be in this spot together, it's special.
And then if you were going to tell the fan base, what makes him capable of being a successful head coach for the Columbus Crew?
I think you saw the success he had with some of the players that were on the team now when we were in Crew 2 days, and he's been around this club for a long time. He knows what the club values. He knows what the club stands for. He knows everything about this club, and he has the belief in us as players, and we have the belief in him as coach that we can get back to the ways we were used to, and putting the ball down, playing, and putting out a product that the fans can be proud of.
We can take one more?
Sean,
Mike?
when a coach gets fired after 5 months, there are problems that go beyond wins and losses. What were Henrick's problems here?
I think it was. It's hard because as players we do everything for a coach, and I think there's moments where we weren't able to adjust in instances. I think there was times I think we put out a good first half in games, and I think we could be proud of moments in that. And then I think come on the second half and we come out a little bit flat and we just kind of are taking on the pressure. And I think you saw that in the Philly game in the second half. And we just kind of we're out there and we're looking for solutions and for answers. And sometimes it was a little bit too late or delayed or something like that. So I think it was just kind of looking for that.
Great, thank you, Sean.